Hi, welcome to the Hyperfixated Fan. I'm Rachel.
I'm Hunter.
And today we're going to talk about Alice in Borderland.
Yeah, this is a show I'm still somewhat new to. I only finished it literally after we recorded the Skate episode.
Wow.
I know. Only watched the first episode like 2 months ago, something like that.
Yeah, I got you to finish it very fast.
Yeah, we did a lot of binging. It was a great time.
Yeah. But we're going to talk about the Netflix show. I'm going to talk a little bit about the manga, just of like what I know about it, but just know like the manga is already all done. Like season 1 through 2 of the show that are already out like covers all of the manga, so no worries for spoilers for that if you've already seen the show.
And I know nothing about the manga. I only have the show, but it was a wild ride.
Yeah, I like it a lot.
And as per usual, we will be spoiling the whole thing because
yeah, of course.
We all watched it, and
We
boy
gotta
howdy
talk
the
about
ending. But yeah, no.
We'll talk about that.
Yeah. We'll get there.
Yeah. So I remember when this came out, it was around the same time as Squid Game on Netflix, so everyone was kind of like comparing the two.
That tracks, yeah.
They're a bit similar just because of it's like, oh, you play a game to the death, but definitely
love that death
a
game
different
genre.
setup.
Yeah. Because I guess I haven't seen Squid Game admittedly, but it's sort of
what?
Okay, so look, I generally am not sort of into the whole like death game genre.
Okay.
Like, I also don't generally super love watching just live action gore.
Yeah, that's fair.
When it's like especially when it's like so excessive.
Yeah.
So when I saw that that's kind of what Squid Game was all about, I was sort of like, you know what? I don't think I want to watch people being kind of half forced into
That's
just
fair.
gratuitous gore and violence.
How was Alice in Borderland though for you?
It was a lot.
Yeah.
But the plot was intriguing enough to keep me kind of going.
Okay.
And I got invested in the characters and everything. And, you know, when it was, there were only, like, I think a couple of scenes where I was like, I don't want to look at
Yeah, there's
that.
only a few really gory stuff. It's not that much.
Like, the one that immediately comes to mind is Tasa's hand.
Tata, yeah.
I did not like looking at that.
I didn't like looking at that either.
That was the one where I was just like, I'm gonna look away from the screen until this scene is completely over.
Yeah.
And kind of on that note, like just as a comparison, like McKenna and I started watching Yellow Jackets last night. Have you seen that?
I couldn't watch it because it was too much. I think like I don't know, for me personally, it was too sexual trauma triggering.
That's fair. We're only 2 episodes in now, I think. We literally just started.
Yeah.
But there's like a moment where like right after the plane crash, you see the coach's leg under the wing, and I was like, oh, you see like the one girl's leg break on the soccer field. You see the coach's leg turn to soup under an airplane wing, and I was like, oh, we're gonna have to see how much I can do with this show. But it's like that kind of thing where I'm like, bones especially are a thing.
Okay.
So I was like very cautious going into this show, but I'm glad I stuck it out.
Yeah.
Had I been watching it with like in cartoon form, I think it would have been like, or animated form, I would have been like, yeah, let's go. But because it's live action, it's very different.
That exists.
Okay, well, I'm gonna have to go track that down and watch that as well now.
I don't know how much it is. I definitely know it goes through the Seven of Hearts game.
Okay.
But I don't know how much more it does.
Oh, that one. Okay.
And it came out first before the show. But like again, I don't know like how much it is. So.
Fair enough. That'd be fun to watch again. Just you know, a different take on it.
Yeah, I've seen the whole scene with the Seven of Hearts animated, and it's pretty good. It's very close to the live action, which is impressive.
Yeah.
So
I was cautious going in, but I'm glad I stuck it out because it's really good. The characters are all interesting. My only critique was I have a bone to pick. No, well, I have thoughts on the ending. My only critique is like, God damn the costume designers, but that's a whole other thing.
Okay.
And that's just like, no woman who had been living in this apocalypse would still be wearing heels or carrying a purse.
For sure.
Like, everyone would be dressing like Usagi so fast.
Yeah. Like, you would not... I would die before I would wear heels.
Right? Like, I mean, like, I get, like, okay, we're still exploring the world. Like, I'm not going to change just for funsies. But after like game number 1, you're like, I need to be prepared for anything. Give me solid pants. Give me running shoes. Yeah. Give me like putting my hair up in a ponytail. Yeah. Fuck makeup.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, but I also understand they want to like make each character unique and distinct, and so they're putting them in like clothes that are representative of the character. But it's also like, but who's wearing heels?
It loses a bit of that realistic.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I remember complaining with you about that in like episode 1 or 2 with
I think it's 1.
Might have been 1 with what's her name who shows up for yeah.
Yeah, that annoyed me as well.
Hey, listeners, heads up. I don't know why I could not collect any names from this show. I would be just like pointing at the screen. I was like, Rachel, what's that one's name? That one right there.
Okay, because that's me with Demon Slayers.
Yeah, I don't know why. It took me so long just to learn like Usagi's name. Mm-hmm. Like I couldn't. Anyway, so this is mostly your show, and I've been talking more than you, so please,
no, it's okay.
Take it away.
That's okay. I like this show because, like, for the longest time, it was just season 1. Like, season 2 came out, like, last year, but it wasn't, like, there was a gap between season 1 and 2. Mm-hmm. And when we just had season 1, it was nice because, like, you didn't know what was happening. Like, you didn't know, like, what the games were, like, what was happening. So it was, like, a fun little mystery.
That's
and then
fair. That's crazy.
Yeah, and then season 2 happened, and it's like, okay, this is okay, I guess. And then you figure out what happened, and then it's like, okay.
I have questions now. Because, like, the citizens show up in seasons. Like, you can establish citizens, and that throws, like, a whole new wrench into the thing. And
that's
it's like,
cool, yeah.
It's a whole new thing. And then you're like, hang on.
When you get to the last episode.
The last episode, like, it flips things for you, and you're like, okay.
So I definitely like season 1 better than I like season 2, and I think it's because we just get introduced to this new world, this new concept. We get all these new characters.
It just keeps everything like a solid mystery.
Yeah, and then
only questions, no answers.
Yeah, and I feel like season 1 is exciting. Like, they have a lot of stuff happen. And some people complain about that, being like, oh, it's too fast, they're going too fast. But I actually like that a lot, because season 2 to me felt a bit slow, like a bit boring.
Yeah, I remember when we were watching the, I don't remember what they called the game, but the one with Naked Guy. You were like, this is taking so long.
That game takes forever.
See, I thought it was such an interesting game with like interesting concepts, with like multiple ways you can win, and like different, and like the teams were strategic, and like different ways you could play off of each other, not to mention the like Naked Guy with Arisu dynamics, which was like, that was interesting.
Cool,
and we got Tata like a chance to like shine. And then you also had, not Agani, the Zhu Young knockoff.
Naragi.
Thank you. I can never remember Naragi's name, and he's just gonna be like Zhu Young knockoff in my head forever. Like, he gets like good moments, and then some of his like worst moments, and it's like, I thought like that game gave some really good and bad moments for each character, and I liked the concept of the game once I wrapped my head around it, because the explaining gave me nothing.
It was so annoying.
But I remember like, I'm like into it, and you're just like, God, this is how much longer in this episode, it's taking so long.
Yeah, probably because I've seen it like 3 times already.
That's fair. I can see how it could start to like really like just be drawn out if you've seen it already.
But like, the thing is, like, I judge shows also based on rewatch potential, because I rewatch things all the time. So if it's not good rewatching it, it loses value to me.
That's fair.
But it's still like a good season. It's just like wasn't as good as season 1. I'm trying to think what else happens in season 2.
Season 2, we also get we get Chishia's like shining moments as he just like keeps knocking out the like
Chishia. We get his backstory, which I really liked, and
games.
I like
Chishia on his own. I think is just like truly some stellar moments for him.
He's great. I love him. He is honestly my favorite character of the whole show.
What? I'm shocked. Really? What?
So
he's marvelous. I really do love him.
I remember when I watched season 1, I made this meme. It was like head empty, thoughts full of Chishia or something like that. Just because he's so pretty, and I think Hunter disagrees with me, but I think he looks good in his wig. I like
cannot stand his hair. The man himself, beautiful.
He's beautiful.
I love his stupid little, like, I know more than you look. Like, I love everything about him, except, like, God, I hate his hair. I hate what they've done with his wig.
I don't think it's that bad. I think it is worse in season 2, but season 1, I think it looks good.
It's just that it very clearly is a wig is the issue, and it's like they didn't even try. And it's like, what? Like, come on, put effort in. You put effort in everywhere else in this show, and then they're just like, here's the worst wig we found at Party City. Put this on. It's like, come on.
Yeah, it's pretty funny how that happened. But also he, like, in season 1, he wears, like, makeup, like eye makeup, which
little
I really
cat
like.
eyes. Like, it's so perfect.
And I think he looks so pretty in that, and I don't think they put him in that much makeup in season 2, which is such a shame, because he's so pretty, but...
To be fair, he's out of the beach. He can't get it in. He can't get to his eyeliner now.
It's so annoying. But shout out to him. His actor's name is Murakami Nijiro. I don't know how to say it, but I like say it one way in my head and then I try to speak it, and it's like,
oh god, yeah. There's so many words and names where I'm like, this is how you say it, and then the word happens, and it's like, that's not what I was thinking.
Yeah, but anyways, his actor. I don't know if you probably don't know this, but he's like a nepo baby. Like both his parents are like actors / singers in Japan. So I'm like, go you.
Good for you, bud. Living it up.
Yes, and then talk about characters. We can switch to characters now. The one that name you never remember, Naragi. His actor is Sakurada Dori. I said that one right, and he's a great actor. If you've ever if you see him not as Naragi, he's just like this really sweet guy. It's just like, I just love seeing how good of an actor people can be, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
That incredible, like, difference between how they naturally are and then how they act. I think that's, like, really good talent.
Yeah, I think, like, the character himself, like, my not remembering his name has nothing to do with how much I am invested in his character, because, like, I hate Naragi, and that's completely due to, like, how well he is portrayed.
Yeah.
Because, like, we will eventually get to, MDZS and Ji Young.
Yeah, we will
get there.
We will.
I don't want to talk about Ji Young now but just know that I'm fully invested in Ji Young just as much as I am in. If you know, you know. But like I hate Naragi in that, like, I'm fully invested in this character. We get like just bare hints of his backstory, and you're like, it's definitely one of those things where it's like, but that's not even enough to go cool. It's not enough to go cool motive, still murder. It's just like, that's not even a cool motive.
No, yeah.
That's just like, oh, I'm sorry. Anyway, moving on.
Yeah.
Like, ugh. And then we have like these 2 scenes with him and Usagi, and you're like, I'm willing to enter the Borderlands myself and kill you. And it's just like, oh my god, he's so hateable, and I like love it. And also he should be dead long before season 2 starts. Which
he should definitely be dead.
He should be dead 4 times over. Like by the time we reach the like.
I feel like
team
a lot
game.
of them should be so dead.
Well, I mean, yes, but like him in particular, he's a walking mummy.
Yeah. So like first of all, even if he did fall in the pool after getting burned, and like, okay, he didn't burn to death, he would die of infection.
Right. Exactly.
100% he would die of infection.
And then there's like the whole like
internal bleeding thing.
There's the whole like naked guy game that like that's a whole hot mess. And then just like he just keeps wandering off and then showing up again.
And then like, he gets shot and he survives. He literally gets shot through the chest. Like,
buddy!
You would die!
Buddy!
That's annoying, but...
How do you keep living? Stop it!
Yeah.
It's great. It's wonderful. I hate him.
So, it's so
said
funny.
with all the love in the world.
Me and Hunter have different opinions on things. So, I like Naragi because I completely block out the sexual assault, because I have to. So
if we ignore those scenes, he's great, and I love him.
That's how my brain is working.
I mean, like, I'm in agreement with you. If we pretend those scenes don't exist, bestie. Yeah. He's my favorite. I just unfortunately, like, cannot.
I can.
Like, okay, fair.
Because, like, I literally walked away when we were watching that scene.
Yeah, she did fully leave the room. She's like, just shout when the scene's over.
I cannot deal with that. It's too much.
Which, yeah, fair. It is rough. It's a rough scene. It's very rough.
So if I ignore that, then I like his character because I wrote a fic about how he, like, the psychology of, like, getting bullied, but, like, that's not enough to make you, like, kill people.
That,
like,
to make you
what
that.
else happened?
Yeah.
So I kind of, like, filled in those gaps, and I liked that. And so I kind of like him because he allows for, like, interpretation of, like, what pushes people to that state.
Interesting.
I guess.
I might have to go read that because I don't think I haven't read any of your Alice in Borderland fic.
So I wrote that one, and then I wrote a Chishi and Naragi, like, porn without plot one that was literally just for fun because I've never written a fic like that before.
That's fair.
So
hell yeah,
that was fun. And then I wrote this other one that's a second person point of view, which I have. That's the only one I've written, and it's from, like, a reader perspective. So I hadn't done that either.
Yeah,
so.
I've never written.
Yeah, so it was fun because it was different, so... in that one, it was, like, my take on season 2, like, before it came out, and I, like, came up with some pretty gory games, so I don't know if you want to read that one, but the other ones
I can
fine.
read it. Reading it is fine. It's the visual of bones sticking out that is bad for me.
Okay.
That's why I was, like, really dreading when we saw, the girl without the leg, the archer, when we were seeing her game, and I was like, we're gonna watch her lose her leg, and I'm not ready for this, and we actually don't see it properly.
No, you just see her, like, pulling her leg off.
Yeah, we see, like, her pulling it off, which was not good to watch, but it was not bones sticking out and whatever, and I was like, this is better than what I was expecting.
Yeah, it's a bit better.
I was so dreading watching through that whole thing.
It's like, when is she gonna die?
It's like, I'm gonna have to watch her get a leg chopped off or crushed or something.
Yeah.
But we didn't, and it was fine.
Yes. Also, I really love, so the friend, Karube.
Karube! Love of my life!
So, number 1, I love Karube as a character. Number 2, I love the actor, Machida Kita. Yeah. He's in my favorite show ever, Cherry Magic. I love Cherry Magic so much, so every time I see Machida Kita, I'm like, my boy, like...
Sweet little Kurosawa! I still need to finish Cherry Magic.
It's really long, so it's fine, but I definitely recommend it.
Reasonably far in there. I think we got it to, like, episode 7, 8, maybe. I don't know. We gotta finish that though.
Eventually.
Because I love them. I love my boys. They're so sweet and so dumb.
So,
but that's not what we're talking about now. Anyway,
but Machida Kita is
he's
a
phenomenal
great actor because of, like, seeing him in Cherry Magic and seeing him in this.
I did not recognize him. I fully did. Like, I was like, I know this face, but I could not tell you who.
Yeah, I had to tell her who it was.
The bleached tips really threw me off.
Pretty. He's a really pretty guy.
He's a very pretty man. He's so tall.
He's very tall.
He's so tall.
Yeah. So that was nice. He was great. I was very sad when he died. Like,
God, that game fucked me up.
Like,
I thought we were the gang. I thought we were gonna keep the gang.
No,
but, like, maybe lose one of them, probably Chota.
No,
but no.
Yeah, it's just the scene of, like, okay, these are the stakes. Like,
God. It's so funny to me because you've got the, like, gang, the 3 boys. You got Chota, you got Kusabe, and you have Karube. I'm just blending his names together, and I'm trying, y'all. Karube, Chota, and Arisu.
Yeah.
And, like, you see a lot of the friendship of, like, you see the 3 of them hanging at the bar, at, like,
at
like, convenience store, at Shibuya having together, just 3 of them being besties, and then you see, like, a whole lot of, like, Korebe, like, gassing Arisu up, like, all the time, and then, like, dissing on Chota, but, like, you know, friendly and whatever. Yeah. And just, like, their friendships are, like, really, really cute. And it just, like, I had a point with this. And I think it's gone now. But the thing
It's
is, like,
sad that they died.
well, yes, that. No, the thing was, like, I genuinely did not expect... I expected Chota to go out early. Just because it seemed to focus more on, like, the Kurobe-Arisu friendship more.
Yeah.
Like, that seemed more, like, solid. And then Chota was like, I'm just here to be, like, a very cute face.
Yeah.
And comic relief. And then also he had the, like, fling with what's-her-name. And also his weird cult trauma.
Yeah, I didn't like any of that, of course.
That was, like, a whole weird vibe. But, like... I genuinely thought, like, we were gonna lose Chota, and that would be, like, this is the stakes.
Part, yeah.
And then, like, that would push, like, Korobe to be, like, more serious about things, and, like, Arisu to, like, oh, this is also for realsies, like, I have to get my ass in gear.
Yeah.
I didn't expect them both to go out!
It's very sad.
I also just had a hard time taking Chota seriously as a character, because he always had that, like, weird, goofy smile on his face.
Yeah.
I just, like, I looked at him and I was like, you're not a real person. You are a cartoon character as a human being. Not to say that the actor is, like, a goofy person in general. I just feel like that's just how you play Chota as a person. He's just like, I am a man in a cubicle. Yeah, this is my life.
He is some comic relief, for sure.
Yeah. But that was how I expected, like, their, like, trio to, like, progress, was just, we're gonna lose Chota, that's what pushes us forward, and it's like, no, we're gonna lose everyone, except Arisu.
Yeah. And I mean, it was very emotional, and I like things that are very emotional, because it hurt very bad, and seeing Arisu's reaction I thought was really good, so shout out to his actor, Yamakasi Kento, who is a very phenomenal. Famous Japanese actor. And he's, like, older than all of them.
Is he really?
Yeah, he's, like, 35 or something.
Nice.
But he did a great job, like, screaming after they died. That was insane. I loved that. And then also just, like, portraying, like, the, like, suicidal, like,
depression what's
the point, like, that comes after grief, and I feel that a lot, so that's really good.
And I think what's interesting is that, like, he hits that there, which totally makes sense, and while we see him, like, start to kind of, with Usagi's help, start to, like, re-enter, like, a will to live, or like at least I can't just stay here. It's always still kind of there, and that he occasionally does slip back into it throughout the story.
Self-sacrificing gene.
So it's not something that he necessarily, like, fully forgets, even to, like, the very end. Like, that's still there.
It is still
and that's
there.
what, like, Mira picks on exactly, like, pinpoint accuracy.
And that's what almost got him to lose the Queen of Hearts game.
Yeah. And even from the very beginning, it's still haunting him at the end, and it's just brutal and painful and
so
hurts.
real, very real.
Extremely.
I like that, and I like that. That's something him and Usagi, like, bond over, because, like, she felt like that, like, when her dad died. So I really like that they could, like, support each other through that.
I was so sure her dad was going to show up later in the show. I was so
Hunter
fucking
kept saying that.
The thing is, like, I recognized the actor of her dad from something, so I was like, this is a significant man. If, like, I, as an American person, am like, very familiar with this Japanese actor when I have not watched many live-action Japanese shows. I don't know what that is now. I was like, okay, so he's, like, a big actor, probably.
I don't know.
And they've cast him in this tiny little role. So probably he's going to come back. Either he's going to be a competitor in one of the games, and now she's going to have to fight against her dad, because that would be emotionally compelling.
Or he'll be, like, a master.
Yeah, or he'll be, like, a citizen, or a controller, or a dealer. Thank you, that was the word I was looking for. Or something like that, and a mastermind even. And I was like, that would be so cool, and that would suck for Usagi. And I was like, because who, like, just conveniently disappearing on a mountain? Or he got plucked up by the games, but
if there's no body, they're not dead. Like,
yeah, exactly. But no, he did just kind of potentially go off to commit suicide on a mountain, or had made a mistake on a mountain, which is also very easy to do.
Yeah.
No, that was just, maybe I didn't know this actor and he just looked vaguely familiar, or maybe he is a big name and they were like, here, you can have this fun little cameo.
I don't know.
Who's to say? I could be crazy. But, he didn't come back.
Yeah.
I was so sure that was gonna be something.
No.
And then it wasn't.
Yeah. But Usagi and Arisu, like, they're okay as a couple. Like,
they're so cute.
They're cute, but they're a bit boring. They're a bit, like, vanilla. Yeah. But it's okay, because, like, I'm like,
you need some vanilla in a world like that.
Yeah, they deserve some, like, calmness, I guess. Like, it's acceptable to me.
They're both, like, little freaks in the world, so they deserve to just have something, like, normal and stable with each other.
Yeah, it's okay.
I think they're really cute together. I mean, at first I was like, these two are just, like, standing next to each other. But then as, like, things kind of progress, it's like, oh, they can
bonding.
Like, they can rely on each other. They have stability with each other, and I think that's what they need, and it just got cuter and cuter.
Yeah.
But at first it was like, oh, this is a boy and a girl standing next to each other. But no, I think after time went on, I was
it's
like, oh,
alright.
okay, no, they're cute. They're good. They're cute. The scene in the, like, hot springs in the collapsed stadium was, like, really cute with the elephant.
I did like the elephants.
I like the elephants. And then they found a corpse in the water, which,
of course.
To be fair, I warned them about that.
Yeah.
I did say directly at the TV, I was like, they're gonna walk right into a corpse. Mm-hmm. And then they did. They should have listened to me.
It was expected.
It's not like that was a surprise.
I think my favorite part of the whole show is the episodes when they're at the beach. I don't know why, but I just really like that setup. I like the vibe. I like the, like, suspense of, like, oh, we're gonna, like, overthrow, like, the beach, like, hierarchy, and we're gonna, like, steal the cards, and we're gonna do all this stuff, and then, oh, whoops, like, now everyone's killing each other. Like, I just really like those episodes. I don't know, it's a great time for me in the show. I like it.
That's fair. Yeah, I mean, I like the idea of, like, we're gonna try and, like, heist the beach. Like, Chishia's, like, vibes during the whole beach thing is, like, very fun to consider. But also, every scene at the beach had me, like, completely uncomfortable, I think.
Because they're all in bathing suits?
Well, yeah, they are all in bathing suits, which I was like, first of all, you can absolutely hide a weapon in many of the bathing suits and cover-ups that these people are wearing. So that defeats the purpose. 100%. But, like, second of all, just, like, the fact that these people have just gone out, watched many of their companions die, and now are back for a rave, it's just like, I hate it.
They're dissociating.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I get that, like, that's the point. We're gonna live in denial. Yeah. We're gonna have fun in any way that we can, because that's the only way to, like, cope with what the world is. Yeah. But it was still just, like, I mean, and I know that's exactly what, like, you see Usagi and Arisu doing. They're, like, sitting on the beach chairs, just like, these people are having a party. Mm-hmm. We just watched 4 people die in an explosion or whatever, and it's, like, exactly that same sensation. But it was just like, how do you do this? And it's like, by pretending that trauma isn't happening.
Yep, exactly.
To such a degree that you completely dissociate.
Yeah.
Which is wild. And oh god. But you know what, the beach is where we get all of my favorite characters.
Yes.
So
Naragi, Chishia.
An, Kuina.
Yes, I love Kuina.
Agni, who when Agni first showed up in the horse game. Yeah. Was so funny, because this guy shows up, he's, like, kind of, you know, militant. He's, like, ready to go. He's like, he's got his, like, little twink buddy who's also with him. And I was just like, oh, this man has a plan. He's ready to go. He's ready to, like, fight this guy off. He's gonna, like, win this game. I respect this man.
And
then he, like, blew up his little twink friend to, like help win the game. And I was like, you know what? He had a plan and he executed it. I still respect this man. I don't love that he blew up his friend, but he stuck to his plan, and I respect that about him. And then, like, as time went on, and we, like, kept getting to know him, he, like, runs the militants of the beach. Yeah. He helped found the beach. And then post-beach, we see he's just like, I am going to kill the king of spades. And, like, that's my mission. That's what I'm gonna do. Also, I've taken on an apprentice who's, like, weirdly flirty with me, but I'm not letting that happen, because no.
Yeah, he's, and I'm like, ignoring that.
And I'm like, Agony, you are my man, and I love you, and I respect you. Never lost my respect, not once. No, that's not true. Once. And that was during the witch hunt. But I feel like he has a little bit of leeway on that one.
Disagree.
Only a little bit. Only a little bit. The man sort of had to put down his best friend. He was going through it. So
he was going through it.
He was going through it. So I will give him a little bit of leeway on that.
It's just like the
mass
things
murder
that
was
push
not the
people
answer.
To mass murder, yeah.
Yeah. He did not choose. He did not make the correct. Oh
shit. My cat almost knocked over the lamp.
Yeah, not his best choice.
No, not at all.
But he made up for it later.
Yeah, he got over himself.
Fine. He figured it out, and then protected people and saved the day. And I love him. So Agony, one of my best boys.
It's all right. And then also shout out to Quina.
Quina!
Amazing trans rep. Like, oh my god.
She's so cool.
It was so nice because it was just like kind of out of nowhere. Like you didn't expect it. And like it was like just the backstory. And it's like, okay, like this is not only what she is, right? Like she is not just a trans woman. She is like badass and smart and like nice, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So it's very nice, like 3-dimensional. And then also it's very nice that they got like a cis woman to play a trans woman because you know, instead of like in the 90s and even now they like famous actors like they'll get like a cis woman to play like a trans man or something, which doesn't really translate well.
Yeah, it doesn't always.
Yeah, so I like that they like did that. And it was very nice and it was just awesome.
So I came up with I told you earlier, but I came up with a list of who the Alice in Wonderland parallels are. And I should have been bringing this up as we went through all the different characters, but I didn't. But Kuina, while we were going through it, I was trying to guess who some of them were based on names. Obviously, some of them were super obvious. Yeah. Like Arisu is Alice, which makes sense. Usagi is the white rabbit. Like her name literally means rabbit.
Yeah.
And then we see her; she's always running, that sort of thing. But Kuina, I guessed that she was going to be like the White Queen or something. She's very level-headed. Her name sounds like Queen. Turns out that's not correct. She is actually meant to be the caterpillar.
Okay.
In that one, we always see her like with her with her like cigarette. Or not her cigarette, her like device, her like quitting smoking thing.
Yeah.
But the caterpillar is like also somewhat of like an out-of-the-box thinker, and we do see her like thinks pretty strategically.
Yeah.
And also the caterpillar becomes a butterfly by the end. And she has a very good transformation metaphor to her.
Yeah, that's nice.
But that is who Quina is meant to be. Yeah. Is Absalom, the caterpillar, which I thought was very interesting. I was like, you know what?
I like that.
I didn't consider that once while we were watching, but it does make very good sense. Mm-hmm. So that's very fun.
That is fun.
Let me see who we've talked about that I haven't brought up, just so we don't have to like fully loop around. Obviously, Chishia is the Cheshire Cat, which makes like that's very blatant. He speaks in riddles. He's very good at understanding the rules of the game.
You don't know his
each
loyalty.
Game. Yeah, you're always not sure where he stands. Mm-hmm. He's always cool, never flustered. Mm-hmm. Oh, Chota and Karube. Very interesting because this was one that was a little debated. Okay. Some people said they were Tweedledee and Tweedledum. Oh. Which kind of makes sense a little bit. Okay. Because they're always kind of playfully fighting with each other. But also, there is a debate that they are the Walrus and the Carpenter, who are more minor roles. But Karube would be the Walrus, who is a bit of a trickster character. Mm-hmm. And the Carpenter would be Chota, who believes in value and hard work. Okay. And we know that he was like the only one with like a job at the point of the show starting. But I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah, sorry, I am trying to just like breeze through this so we can get back to like more natural talking. The militants in general are just card soldiers. Yeah. They're your kind of standard minions, very simple loyalty. Hatter is the Mad Hatter.
Of course.
And Agony, this one's interesting because he has a couple of potential ones. So the one that I tend to favor is that he's the March Hare, because the Hatter and Hare are kind of a match set. Yeah. And they run the Mad Tea Party, the beach together.
That makes sense.
And also the Hare is sort of stuck at the tea party by some of Hatter's like previous antics. It's sort of like almost a time loop situation is my understanding. Sort of Hatter broke time is I think the joke or the line for the story maybe. It's fair warning, neither of us have actually read Alice in Wonderland, and it's been so long since either of us have watched either version of the movie.
So long. I barely remember
Don't be mad at us if we're wrong about any of this.
Yeah.
I read like 4 different articles on character comparisons, so that's why I have like a bunch of different versions of this. So he's like trapped at the tea party, sort of by Hatter's antics, which counts as like agony, being forced to watch like Hatter's like descent into madness.
Yeah.
Some of the other things he was called, I have these so disorganized. Another version is him being the Jabberwock and Samara as the Frumious Bandersnatch, because both are sort of aggressive and violent beasts. I think that's it for agony. That was, I think, a lesser argument, but I think it's like, yeah, all right, sure, why not?
Yeah.
Naragi, yes. I've seen him as the March Hare as well.
Okay.
Because he is sort of can be considered not necessarily a villain in Alice in Wonderland, but an antagonist, in that like he is sort of like drives Alice, is one of the factors that drives Alice kind of crazy in Wonderland. Okay. And then where else are you, Naragi? Also the Jub Bird, a Wonderland beast that everyone warns Alice to be wary of.
I can see that too.
Yeah, I thought that one was kind of good. Which I will note just with this one, because I don't think we'll need to revisit these characters too much. Samara is, in this particular argument, is also the Jabberwocky because of dragon styling, and is taken down by almost a beheading, because we see Quina like kick his head so bad it's almost like it's being kicked off, which tracks. And then in this one we see Yaba Ohi and Banda Sunato, who are the businessman and the serial killer.
Oh, the murdering boyfriends.
I
love them.
Those two are proposed to be the Jabberwocky and the Bandersnatch.
Okay.
Because Yaba Oiki sounds kind of like Jabberwocky, and Banda Sunato sounds like Bandersnatch.
That makes sense.
So the two of them could be the beasts in who roam Wonderland together.
That definitely makes sense.
Especially since they choose to stay in Wonderland together.
Yeah.
I like that argument a lot better.
Yeah, for sure.
And then someone has proposed, because I don't think we'll visit these two either, Momoka and Asahi as the Tweedledee and Tweedledum.
Yeah, that makes sense, because they're always together.
Exactly. Kuzuryu.
Yeah.
As the Knave of Hearts. A man of few words, even during his own trial, and was ordered to bring pain or death to many who didn't deserve it, leaving him to hate the Queen of Hearts.
Yeah, very much the justice.
Yeah, that felt very fitting.
Yeah.
And then Heiya, the archer. I'm sure I said her name wrong.
I think her last name is Akane.
That's very possible. I just took the name that was used in the one article that I read. Has been claimed to be the Dormouse, who is another one who's often seen at the tea party, and which would tie her to the hair.
Yeah.
But that also, the Dormouse is often shoved in the teapot, and her first game is called The Boiling Death.
That definitely makes sense.
And then the last two, I think. Yes. These ones are characters I was not familiar with, but I did love the little connection here. So Tata was compared to the mock turtle, who is known to have low self-esteem and or melancholy and cowardice.
Yeah, for sure.
And then Kuma, naked guy, was compared to the griffin, who is in the same section of the book as the mock turtle. He's the one who brings Alice to the mock turtle and forces the mock turtle to tell Alice his story, which is when we learn Tata's story is during Kuma's game. And he is known to be an intimidating beast, but befriends Alice.
Yeah, definitely makes sense.
So it's like, that one's just like a tiny little one, but I do think it's like a fun little connection.
Yeah.
And then obviously Mira is the Queen of Hearts, plays Croquet, Garden Psychological Games. I think that was everyone I found a match for.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, okay, I just wanted to
that's cool.
Shove those in super duper quick.
It makes me want to watch Alice in Wonderland.
I know, right? Me too. Be like, where's all the blood?
Yeah.
Where's all the... I did see a couple of things about... I didn't write these down, so forgive me for inaccuracies or whatever, but a couple of the games are pretty similar. So there's the one game where Arisu and I forgot about An. An is the White Queen.
That makes sense. Yeah,
you know, the level head, very logical thinking, that sort of thing. But the game with An and Arisu in the room that's filling with water is when Alice cries a flood, and then like the like game of tag is called Checkmate, and that's the like chessboard.
Oh, okay.
I think there were like a couple of others where it's like, I mean, the just sheer amount of like blood is painting the roses red, stuff like that.
For sure.
So there's like
the Hearts games.
Yeah, there's a handful of like, this set piece represents this scene in the book or whatever like that. But they were also like, I was like, that could make sense, or maybe
not.
Who's to say? So I didn't write those down as I was less certain about those, but I think they're fun to people have articles about these all over the internet that you can look up. They're very fun to look at. Like, I enjoyed my time Googling these earlier today, so...
Especially if you're an Alice in Wonderland fan already. You probably like it a lot.
I am not super familiar, so some of the references went right over my head. But
it's still cool.
Still very, very cool. I enjoyed it.
Talking more about, like, the, like, thing itself, like the show itself.
Yes, yeah.
Why it's called the Borderland.
Borderland.
So let's talk about that.
Yes, please. Let's talk about the Borderland.
So you
shall
kind
we?
of only figure it out like at the end when
literally right at the end,
like explaining what the fuck is happening with like the meteor and everything.
What
and
the fireworks were.
Yeah.
What was so weird about the fireworks?
And the brother, Arisu's brother, says like, "Oh, well, you were in like the borderland of life and death or something," and then that's when
so
it all clicks
cheesy.
together, and
so
it's like,
goddamn
oh,
cheesy.
the Borderland. That's what the title of the show.
I get it
and
now.
And then, wink, wink, it's been purgatory the whole time.
Fucking pull the Lost on us.
It's been purgatory the whole time. So
God damn it.
It's so funny because it's like, oh, this is like a god thing. This is a god thing. It's literally a supernatural, spiritual, religious god thing.
It's
but
so
at the same time,
ridiculous.
it's like, how does that even make sense?
It's
like,
right.
is God just like making
putting them through torture
porn?
Like, what is this?
What?
See, okay.
Are the angels doing this like for fun?
Are they firing the lasers?
Why lasers? Like,
why lasers?
Why a video game setup? It's just like, it's so funny to me that that's the explanation. Because, like, so Hunter thought the whole explanation the whole time was aliens. She was like, it's aliens. It's gotta be aliens.
Okay, to be fair, yes, that is the question I asked the whole time. Did I genuinely think that was going to be the answer in the end? No. But did I keep up the bit for the whole show? Absolutely.
But I bet you didn't think it was going to be God.
God, fuck. I can't. I can't.
So funny. And
look,
then...
it's fine. It's fine. It's whatever. But I do have a bone to pick with God about this.
Yeah, like, I'd be so mad.
Because I was thinking about it today when I was putting together my list of comparisons for Wonderland, and I ended up, my only notes, guys, I want you to know my only notes for this episode were the Alice in Wonderland comparisons, and then like 4 questions. I think they're 4.
Big questions.
They are: do people who die because they lost the game / visa ran out / broke the rules?
Yeah.
Or do they die because a shard of meteor cut an artery / surgery went wrong, or they lost too much blood?
Like, make sense of it in the purgatory.
Do they fuck up in their game because their astral self has to manifest their physical body's failings?
Yeah.
Or is it the other way around?
Yeah, exactly.
And then why would surviving one trauma drop you into worse traumas?
Of, like, recovering, yeah.
What's the logic here?
Yeah.
Which one's the real death? Which one actually kills you?
Yeah.
Is it the laser, or is it a bad surgeon? Who killed me?
You don't know. You don't know.
I need to, though, is the thing.
Yeah. And the whole, like, point behind it, I think, is like making you more value life and like being a good person and everything, but it's also like they don't remember any of that shit that happened, so it's like they just magically came up with this reasoning themselves by surviving a near-death experience.
Like, and a lot of people didn't learn shit. They died too soon.
Yeah.
People died in their first game.
Yeah.
Like,
And then it's also like, does everyone who dies like goes through this? Like,
right?
Is this everyone thing? Like,
and what about the citizens, the people who stayed?
Are
What
they
happens?
just in comas the whole time?
Are they in comas? Does their body die and they just get left on the astral plane?
You know.
Like what?
Yeah.
I have so many questions about the like logistics of this.
Yeah, but I do think something I liked about what they did in season 2 that kind of made the ending make sense is like you kind of see I want to say ghosts, but they're not ghosts. It's like when a Goonie sees Hatter all the time and like he talks to him.
Yeah.
And then when Karube and Shota like talk to Arisu like when he's kind of like waking back up sort of thing, and you're realizing, oh, they're in a bar but this isn't a flashback, like they're talking about stuff. That makes a bit more sense of like, okay, they're trying to instill like people from the afterlife can still access like purgatory a little bit.
Yeah, they're all still like in this plane together.
In the plane, yeah, they're just in a different part of it. So that makes a bit more sense.
That's
and
fair.
I do like that they added that in there because it makes it more mysterious. But I just don't think the purgatory thing is kind of a cop out to me. Like,
yeah, almost. It's like we couldn't think of what an actual logic here was.
Yeah, that's the
it's like we can't
cop-out.
say aliens. We can't say aliens, guys. That's too silly. So Lost.
Yeah,
so it's Lost.
Yeah. And I never finished Lost, but from what I've heard of like my parents watching it and everything, like everyone didn't like the ending that much.
Yeah, I'm one of the few people I think that like, because to be fair, I didn't watch it when it came out. I watched it like when it was on Netflix or something.
Oh, okay.
So I was able to like binge it all in one, like not one sitting, but like all pretty rapid succession. So there wasn't a lot of like time gaps between things. So I was able to like, oh, all these questions are being answered in a logical flow of information. If you cut out the Flash sideways arc and you just focus on the like present arc and the flashbacks, it makes sense. It's not as confusing as one would think. In my personal opinion, I thought the ending was fine and made relative sense in comparison to the rest of the show. If anything in Lost makes sense, then the ending also makes sense. In my personal opinion.
But I do know a lot of people didn't like it.
Yeah, no, a lot of people did not. And that's, that's fine.
Yeah.
It's a weird show. And again, it's another one of those actually we were dead the whole time situations.
Yeah.
Spoilers for Lost, I guess. You didn't come into this expecting that, but I feel like at this point everyone knows the end.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, it's I get where people are coming from with their hate on it.
Yeah.
The Flash sideways screwed everything up.
Yeah.
Answer-wise, like, clarity-wise. But anyway, back to this particular
just that
purgatory.
It's like the same ending. It's just like, oh, okay. Like, it's a bit less meaningful to me, at least, of like, oh, like, again, with the, like, were they gonna die anyways, like, because of what happened to them getting hit by the meteor sort of thing, like...
I still can't believe it was a fucking meteor.
Yeah, that's super random.
That's so... when they first showed it, I was like, is that a missile?
Yeah.
Who's shooting a missile at Tokyo?
Yeah.
God, that was so funny.
And I was like, nah, it was the meteor, and she was like, what?
Yeah, I was like,
oh, fucking
that's
what?
even weirder. The missile made more sense.
It did make more sense.
God, it was so funny. Because I remember we get that scene in the bar with Chota and Kanade.
Yeah.
And they were like, yeah, being exploded is worse.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, yeah, having your head exploded is worse. Because I was like, that's how they died. Like, that sentence isn't weird in context. And but then we get the, like, context. The shining light across the sky and it's like, being exploded is worse. Or exploding is worse. Yep. And I was like, they're bigger,
a little hint
bigger
there.
context. Yeah. Okay, I see. That was clever. Yeah. How dare they? And then I was like, why is there a missile in Tokyo?
Yeah. So I do like the things that they added in with like bringing the characters back and like having them be ghosts or whatever. I thought that was good. Cool. In the manga is the same ending, so they did that. I tried reading the manga actually because somebody on Twitter that I'm friends with said like, oh, the manga's a lot better than the show, and I tried, but I don't know if it's just like I don't like the format of manga. Fair. I just couldn't get into it and I didn't like it as much.
Oh no! That's fair. It's not for everyone.
Yeah, I do better just, I think, with words or just pictures. It's hard for me to mix both. Like, even with TikTok, I can't watch TikTok because it's like, this is too much stimulation for me. Like,
fair enough.
Words plus...
It's like a lot.
A lot of moving stuff plus music. I'm like, no.
TikTok's too much. I got rid of that like 2 years ago.
Yeah, so that's the end of the manga, but there is gonna be a season 3. It's confirmed. It's official.
It's official.
Thanks Netflix. And we don't know like who the cast is. We don't know if it's gonna be a completely different cast of like the same setup. We don't know if it's gonna be the same cast, just like extending the story. Like, we have no idea what it's gonna be about. But I do like that they kind of opened it and put, like, the Joker card at the very end.
Yeah, that was a nice little touch.
I liked that because it was so unsettling.
It was. It's just like, what do you mean? What do you mean, Joker? Well, no one needs a Joker in a pack of cards. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. I don't want to... No, we're alive now, Joker and we're fine.
Like... This isn't real.
Yeah, we're not done. It's not over. We're not safe.
It's not real. Yeah. So I think that's a really interesting thing.
So I did, while I was looking some stuff up today, I was like, one of my lists, it was talking about, you know, such and such character, and I was like, let me double check that I'm remembering the correct person with that name.
Yeah.
And while I was looking at it, I saw, so there's like the main Alice in Borderlands manga, but it looks like there was either a sequel series or a side series.
I don't know.
So I'm wondering if they're going to pull from one of those.
Maybe.
And I don't know, obviously I don't know what's in them or if there's multiple, but I saw at least one of them just because I was checking the thing, and it was like, and in this one, you know, Alice in Borderlands Revival, or, you know, whatever the fuck it's called.
Yeah.
Obviously it's not the word revival, but, you know, like whatever it's called.
I don't know.
It mentioned Arisu ends up back in the Borderland when he tries to like protect someone from like an accident or save someone's life from such and such situation.
Again, a near-death experience.
And ends up in another or the same Borderland. I don't know, but it was like Arisu ends up back in the Borderland, and I was like, what the fuck, bud? Like, what kind of bad luck do you have?
Please give him a break.
Like, let the man rest. Let him and Usagi move to the mountains.
Whoever angels / gods in charge of this, just let this boy have a break.
Let him take a nap.
It's like, enough.
Look, he doesn't need to work. His girlfriend's too good. She can be the moneymaker. He can just keep house.
Yeah.
Like, we know they'd both be happier that way. But
it'll be cool to see what they're gonna do with it.
I mean, I could easily see them like taking that because it's already like a canonical thing, or taking it like, let's follow some entirely new characters in the Borderland, or, you know, whatever,
or retcon the ending and
retcon the ending.
Different. Like,
just kidding, you never escaped.
Yeah, exactly.
But
we'll see.
I don't know. But when I saw that, I was like, oh, that's really interesting. I wonder if that's something they'll play with. Because that surprised me. But it'd be interesting.
It will be interesting. So.
Okay, quick question.
What?
What's your favorite ship?
I do like Chichi and Naragi because, like, I feel like they're both very smart. Like,
they are.
It doesn't really show this in the show, but Naragi's, like, specialty is diamond games.
Interesting.
Yeah, and so is Chichia's.
Yeah.
And, I don't know. I also think that Chichia can see straight through Naragi. Like, Naragi has this whole, like, persona of being super tough and
trying
awful.
To be, like, and then we see that confrontation on the roof during the beach scene.
Exactly. So, Chichia, like, sees right through him, and I like that dynamic a lot.
That's good.
Yeah, and I also like that Naragi thinks that Chichia is, like, stuck up and arrogant. And he hates that, but I like that one a lot. I also really like Karube and Arisu.
They're really cute. I think that's cute. Yeah.
Yeah, especially like in the book, or in the manga, I guess. Like, Karube is way more, like, attached to Arisu, I guess, so...
I was shipping them a little before, you know, the most tragic event of my life.
Yeah, and it does show in the show as well. Like, Karube is like, no, like, you need to survive, and, like, you would be the one to survive, and all of that. And I do like that.
He scooped Arisu up on his shoulders.
Yeah.
Like, the first episode, before anything even happens, he's like, hello, you're mine, I'm scooping you. He scooped him. He scooped him.
And I love Karube, and I think he deserves love his best friends.
Yeah. And like, look, I know he was like in love with the girl at the bar, and he was gonna propose, and like that's really sweet, and I do wish him.
Compet.
And look, we didn't get to see much of their dynamic, but they were cute, and I wish him all the happiness. And I love Arisu and Usagi. They're also very cute, but like, look, polycule. That's all I'm saying.
You can have that, but I also like when you're in a near-death scenario, like you're gonna trauma bond and be codependent with your best friend.
I mean, look, his fiance's gone now. She's not in the Borderlands, so now Arisu and Karebe can be together.
I like them.
But like out in the real world, he can have his fiance, and like now Arisu can have Usagi, and then they'll be happy like that together, and it'll be fine. Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, they can't because Karebe is dead. Mm-hmm. But in an ideal world. Yeah. And then like these two can just also be dating as well, and it'd be great. But
I like those. Who do you like?
Kuina and An.
Oh yeah, they're cute.
They're so cute. Ones. They kicked so much ass in those final games.
They're a good one.
In season 2. They're so cute. And then we have that like moment of in the hospital where Queen is like looking in at On getting surgery, and it's just like, there's something there. And it's like, yes, girl, the two of you
power couple
are gonna be the ultimate power couple. You're gonna kick ass together. And you're both so smart, and you're both so hot. And I love you. They're just so good.
They're good.
They're so good.
They are.
I love Queen with all my heart. Is the thing. And it took me a minute to warm up to her because she kept wearing those stupid sunglasses inside. Yeah. And I was like, But then she got cool and I loved her.
Yeah, she's cool.
So I think that's my favorite ship, is those two.
Nice.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. They're just wonderful. And I love them and I wish them all the happiness. Mm-hmm. Now that they're alive.
Maybe.
Allegedly alive.
Know, yeah.
God. Which card suit do you think you would participate in most? Or suit best, yeah.
I don't know. I might be good with hearts. It depends if I would be there alone or with my friends.
That certainly determines.
That definitely determines it. Other than hearts, I probably would be good at like clubs, team games. I'm not in shape at all and I'm not that smart. So.
Yeah, right? When we were watching, I was like, I tend to think that I'm a smart person. But I'm watching these games and I am an idiot.
Not that smart.
I'm not that smart.
Not at all.
So, yeah, I feel like I'd probably do team games well enough. Yeah.
The only reason I think I'd be good at heart games is because I feel like I can read people very well and, like, figure out how to, like, manipulate them if I wanted to.
Yeah, fair enough.
But I don't know. That's the only reason for that one. And because, like, there's no physical things with Hearts game usually, so...
Yeah. If this were, like, 10 years ago, back when I was, like, actively on swim team, I could potentially do the, like, physical games.
Even when I was in shape in high school doing sports, I don't think I could do it.
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't, like...
super in shape.
I wasn't, like... I was never on varsity. I was on JV all 4 years of high school.
As well.
But, like... I wouldn't have died. Well, I say that, but like it is a death game. But you know what I mean? Like the activity itself would not have killed me. Right now, like God only knows. But God, I need to get more active.
Yeah, I'm setting tomorrow as my first day of like, okay, we'll see if I can get up early and exercise for 30
I believe
minutes.
in you. You can do it.
I'm gonna try. So
my yoga class got canceled tonight, so like I am behind. Woo! So we love to see it.
Yeah, but I definitely have written fics. Read my fics if you want. I have made video edits as well of this show that I like. I think Alice in Borderland was actually the show that got me into making video edits.
Really?
Yeah, because I was like looking for... So the reason I make things is because, no, it's not out there yet. Like, I write fics because I have a fic I want to read and no one's written it yet. It's all right.
Fair, yeah.
And the same thing is, like, with video edits. I was like, I need, like, Chishia edits. I need Niragi edits. And there were not a lot, so I was like, I'll make my own. So
if no one else will do it, it's on me.
Yeah,
let's go.
So literally I have a bunch of them on there.
That's awesome.
So that's cool. And then I definitely have made a bunch of memes of Chishia related.
You showed me some of them. They're so good.
I'll drop them in the Discord for sure.
Please do. I need more Chishio in my life. I do I do love Chichia.
I love Chi-Chi so much.
I mean, he's just a smarmy little asshole.
And I love him even more that he's a pediatrician.
I never
love
in
him so much.
a million years would have guessed that. I genuinely thought he was just some, like, snotty little rich kid who just also was good at things. Because, like, that's the attitude he gives off. He's just like, I know, and I'm better than you, and I know more than you. So, like,
But it makes sense because, like, I mean... Hopefully doctors are smart.
I mean, one would hope doctors are smart.
Some doctors are not smart, but Chi-Chi is the type of doctor who's like, okay, like, you are a doctor.
Yeah.
Like, I could never be a doctor because I'm not that smart and I don't have the energy, but Chi-Chi is a good doctor, and I love that he's a pediatrician because it's like he cares. He cares.
I really hope he goes back to his job once he's recovered and just, like, kills his boss.
Yes.
Just easy, like, into the office, slices the throat, out of the office, doesn't get caught. He learned a lot in the Borderlands, you guys, and I just feel like I hope some of it resurfaces and he can kill the boss who lets these kids die.
I've definitely read some fics where, like, they get out of the Borderland and then they, like, gradually remember things, like, based on triggers that happen, and I love that. And also, like, after we watched the final episode the other day, I had this fic idea of, like, Chichia as, like, one of those very calm, calculated serial killers.
Yes!
And Naragi as one of those crazy, like, more emotional serial killers.
Yes!
And I think that would be really good.
That sounds like my shit!
Yeah, so that would be great.
Ugh. I love it. I love to see it.
Yeah, and then just as you were talking, I had another fic idea, like, just now of, like, okay, like, Chichia gets better, and then Naragi takes more time to recover, so, like, Chichia is, like, his doctor and taking care of him.
Cute.
So I'll have to write that down.
Do it.
I have a whole note full of fic ideas, and I just, like, add to it, because I'm like, when I have the time and energy, I go and, like, pick something from my list.
Same. I have like
Hunter has a whole Discord, but I just have a notes app.
Yeah, I have a whole Discord server that's just called Writing Ideas, and each channel is like a new fic idea, and then
based on fandom, right?
Yeah, most of my channels are fandoms.
Okay.
So I've got my skate fic is the biggest one. My Hero has a decent chunk.
Nice.
Magnus has 3 of them. MDZS has a handful. I don't know that I'll ever get around to writing them, but I do have some fun ideas.
Yeah.
And then I have one that's just called Other Fics, I guess. That's
miscellaneous.
The one. Miscellaneous. I do have like 2 for Tri-Stamp, 1 for Naruto, 1 based on my D&D campaign, 1 based on Hades Town, 1 based on Merlin, and 1 based on, oh god, Sherlock.
Oh, that's an old one.
Oh, that was actually a fic I started writing. God, so long ago, and I reread it recently, and I was like, huh, that's actually not bad. What if I redid it but better? Is what that one is. I have a couple of ideas for TGCF that I need to put down in here as well.
Yeah, you gotta write it down or else you forget.
Yeah. Like, I think I have them written in my conversations with other people. I just need to, like, transfer them.
Yeah.
So they are written down, just not in one cohesive place. But fun fact, if you ever have a place, or you ever have like a bunch of fic ideas, a Discord server, because then you can access it from many devices to contribute to at any given time. I guess. That's what works for me anyway. Obviously, it won't work for everyone.
No.
Rachel's Notes app works great for her.
I don't use Discord very much.
That's fair.
Notes app is just good because it's like each paragraph I have is a different idea.
Fair, yeah.
So I kind of like scroll through it in my free time too. I'm like, oh, that was a good idea.
Hey, remember this one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do that too.
I will eventually, hopefully, maybe get through most of them, or like the ones I really want to write. Yeah, we'll see. I'm working on a multi-chapter fic right now, and it's so hard because, like, when you work full-time, you have 0 time to write, so it fucking sucks. We'll talk about that.
I have a fic I'm trying to write by Thursday, so we're gonna see if that happens.
I haven't updated my current fic in, like, 2 months.
That's okay!
It'll happen eventually, okay?
It'll happen!
I do not abandon fics. That is one thing about me. I do not abandon them. It might take me 6 months to post a chapter, but I'm not gonna abandon it, so...
I think I've only ever abandoned one, and again, it's that
the
Sherlock one! So... I have a My Hero Best Jeanist fic that's been sitting pretty for like 2 years.
That's a good fic. You should.
But I do plan to get back to it because
Yeah.
I know what's gonna happen in the next like 2 installments. I just like
gotta get around to it.
I've been on a skate fix, you guys. So if you didn't know that about me, but someday I'll get back to it.
A long hyperfixation.
It has, and it will continue.
Yeah.
So. Anyway, so that's our little briefing on fan fiction.
Yeah, we'll talk about it more too. We kind of have it as a topic after we run out of shows to talk about.
Yeah, one day we'll just talk about fan fiction as a whole.
Yeah, maybe
because
like
we love that
we
shit.
Write fanfic ideas we have, our bookmarks, like it will see
how we track our ideas, how we write it, how we deal with it.
If you want to hear that before we get through all of our other stuff,
let us know
because we'll bounce requests up to the top. So.
Yup.
But thank y'all for listening to us with Alice in Borderland. Let us know, like, what you think your best suit game will be. Like, what you think of the ending. Like, what you hope or don't hope for the next season. Like...
Yeah, let us know fave characters, least fave characters. If you agree with us, don't agree with us. We want to hear it all.
Yeah, it's a good discussion to have. So
it's fun.
Thanks for listening.
Bye.
Bye.